Hi everybody and welcome to another daily demo alley. I am Rogue Gamer and you know the gist. I go to Steam each and every day, check out which new demos came out, and then I bring one to showcase to you. Today we have Project 2 Silent Valley. It is developed and published by Sairivan, probably. Project 2 Silent Valley is a linear semi-open world dystopian visual novel with card combat and exploration probably they want to say. Play as the US Navy officer Hieropan, joining the docile humanoid weapon Osprey to uncover a conspiracy at the underwater base Silent Valley, and the hidden truths of his missing friend Okira. So this is a visual novel that's supposed to be some kind of card-based combat. The release date is gonna be first quarter of 2026, and this is, I don't know if this is a sequel or just in the same universe as another game by the same developer, which is called Chicago Project. This is like just Project 2. The art looks nice and this intro seems interesting, so yeah, why not give it a try. Let me just check do some adjustments to, yeah, voice is gonna be important, language English, all of that jazz. Hopefully this will save. Yeah, it's saved. Okay, let's just check in with the new game. The catwalk ended abruptly here. The Bering Sea shimmered with a steel-like gleam under the twilight, resembling a colossal, unpolished metal mirror. Meanwhile, hues of pale blue and faint gold flowed across the horizon like a jubilant tide. In the distance, the silhouettes of 3 destroyers stood like massive iron nails driven deep into the skyline. Their hulls, each black and scarred by the sea, exuded a strangely mundane yet flowingly solemn air in the gentle dusk. Hopefully they translated this well. I think this is actually Executioner's case. Oh. The art looks beautiful.
Sir?
Oh, we're gonna get some voice acting. Nice. Roy Miles also. Very anime-like style, but kind of washed out colors.
Oh.
Hierophant, Hammersfield. Okay, so not really too much voice acting. Formalities. Since when do you bother with that? You usually just call me by name. It's because you're heading to the Silent Valley soon. You can't even simulate the full Bathymetry of that area. The seabed of the Bering Sea is dangerously unpredictable. Worried about me? I know the odds aren't exactly in my favor, but you also know I'm rather adept at slipping away unscathed. Come on, what did you want to ask just now? It's about the uniforms. Have you noticed? They're different from the ones in the old archives. Back then, soldiers would wear their medals and badges proudly across their chests. America has changed, Roy. In the past, soldiers and the elite were 2 distinct groups. Now those who hold military power are the elite, and vice versa. The badges have lost their original significance. The society no longer needs to distinguish civilians from soldiers, nor to prove a soldier's honor to anyone. Military power alone has become the sole measure of worth. Everything is marching towards the dominion of force. Hierophant, about the events during the coup. Hierophant raised his hand, signaling Roy to say no more. It has been 3 months since the coup ended, yet the faces of the fallen still haunted his dreams. His mind drifted to the scar behind his neck. The one left when he personally cut out his resonance chip. 5 years ago, when he was assigned to this remote Alaskan base, Hierophant had understood the crossroads before him. Is it Hero? Should it be Hierophant or Hierophant? He could continue serving as an informant for the domain consortium. That's kind of it. The domain consortium government, monitoring the old government's military installations, or take the risk and truly become one of the old government's own. In the end, he chose the latter. Yet, how had it all spiraled into slaughter? A year ago, accusations surfaced that the White Anchor Base commander was colluding with Russian spies. Charges from the old government, self-proclaimed heirs of lost American ideals. As an infiltrator who had long since passed their rigorous tests, Hierophant immediately recognized it for what it was, a meticulously crafted trap. They had been locked in a silent struggle against the no-domain government, the NC government, that controlled most of the nation's power. This coup was their long-prepared decisive strike. Media outlets unleashed a torrent of coverage, plunging the base into chaos. Many officers once loyal to the NC government began receiving overtures from the old government, defect, and you could keep your overtures from the old government, defect, and you can keep your rank. The offer was tempting. After all, in recent years, the NC government had tightened its grip on the military, especially with the mandatory implementation of resonance chips, a move that had been buried deep resentment. Hierophant's mission was to persuade his fellow NC officers to switch sides, but that promise turned out to be a cruel deception. Old government had assured him that only one high-ranking officer would be executed. Yet, after taking the base, they unleashed a massacre. No one associated with the NC government was spared. Oh wow. Hierophant fought desperately to save the subordinates he had convinced to defect, but was ultimately ordered to stand down by his superiors. They called it restoring order to the people's request. At the people's request, while branding Hierophant's rescue efforts as operational errors. You're worried about my reassignment, but this isn't a punishment, Roy. It might just be an opportunity. But this mission won't take long. You and Ryan will maintain my intelligence network here. You're the ones I trust most. Besides, Silent Valley will need your support from the periphery. Got it. Just never forget, those who were purged once believed in your promises. I know. The second batch of compensation was sent through discreet channels last night. That money might help them endure for a while. If only he had held out longer, if only he had found a better way. You're trying to atone for something already set in stone, Hierophant. I'm sorry, but at the very last, I'll make sure it never happens again. Now, I need to find General MacDonald. Okay. He'll brief me on the mission details. If all goes well, I'll depart tonight. Get ready. Once I'm back, we'll go over the remote support plan in detail. See you soon. And look, this is also what I saw in the trailers, or like screenshots, like how you can move and do this. Press escape to open the system menu. View tutorial inside. Here one hammers failed. Save settings, okay. Point to move to zoom. And open game menu. Personnel file. Age 30. Officer. Former MC. Politician. Age 19. Geologist. Hacker officer. Wow, that's a change of profession. Mission record. Okay, proceed to the northern tower of the base and meet with General MacDonald. His office is located in the far end of the second floor and can be accessed via a golden stairwell door at the first floor. The second floor corridor is perpetually silent, as if wrapped in an unseen shroud of authority. Admiral MacDonald collaborated military militarily with Hierophant's grandfather and great-uncle, and even backed his father Erwin. Similarly, budget reforms in Congress. The admiral is strict with subordinates, yet harbors a complicated reverence for the Hammersfield family. After the coup, it was MacDonald who shielded Hierophant from the shadows, even as he rebuked him in public. This meeting will clarify the specifics of the Silent Valley mission to the Admiral's world's deep intentions. Okay. Decent backlog. Oh, not previous listed. Like some of these you don't know what you can interact with, but it's still fine. Oh, movement is a bit wonky. Zoom in, zoom in. E to interact. It should be like also left click to interact, I think. Like that you can just click on that and go. Loading is a bit stuttery somewhat. You know what? Commander Hammersfield is single again. And wait, you mean he and Regina? Yeah, it happened last week. No way, 2 months. Regina stopped here, sentient history, medical, pretty much no. Commander doesn't like MCs, but that's probably not the reason. Regina never even brought it up. The issues is similar to those eventually. She said, this is happening too fast. Holding back what you do. It's like here, it's very interesting. You know what? It's too perfect. Don't laugh. Seriously, I've got a friend in town that's close. She was with Commander. It's a single flaw to point out. Scared of what? And you mentioned that sometimes when she wakes up in the middle of the night after they finish, she can always find the Commander still working his study. And when it happened, he gently asked if she wanted water or a light sleep aid incense stick. Never stopped working. Jesus, this is going way too fast. I can't read and talk and comment. Wow, and there's a lot of dropping of fucking lore. Jesus, at least these guys can talk, you know, slower. Something runs a little behind him, something on the ground, but not universe. Close, you know, just leave. It was always him who ended things first, because let's talk about this as well. I have no idea what some of this just happened. It was just so oh my god, I think I'm gonna get stuck here. Okay, but well, yeah, this is also a problem. To have to be at a very specific angle, at a very specific place close to the door to open it, it's that's bad. I almost got stuck outside. Is there anything else interesting here? Irvan's gaze lingered on several folders neatly arranged on the meeting room table. Each was labeled surveillance log with a date, recordings from covert monitoring of soldier dormitories and living quarters. Though the coup was over, the purge continued. As early as 1998, the old government had cunningly pushed for Alaskan independence, establishing a key foothold on the Arctic shipping lanes, Purge Strait Naval Base. As the Arctic route grew increasingly strategic, the region's resource value soared, granting the old government considerable trade, political and scientific advantages. By 2020s, the NC government began to realize Alaska had become a gathering point for the Independence Party, old government remnants, and even potential threats like Russia. In response, NC expanded its military presence, dispatching large numbers of Marines to Alaska and constructing a new naval base, miles of Purge Strait, White Anchor. Paper, these forces were still under the old unified command. In reality, rifts ran deep. NC attempted to ease tensions by forming mixed units, but with little success. In fall of 2024, the NC Power Center appointed a senior commander to take over White Anchor, ostensibly a routine reassignment. It was in fact a covert mission to cleanse old government influence from the Navy's upper ranks. This move shattered the fragile balance. The old government responded with a meticulously planned coup, rippling media lies, and those NC officers who once been personally persuaded by Hierophant, only to now turn against him. Hierophant picked up an audio file dialogue between two soldiers who once believed in him. That's a lot to read. But it was these conversations filled with hope, yet destined for disillusionment, that kept him awake at night. The promises he once made, those so-called safety guarantees, how many had become death sentences in disguise? Oh, we got... Nope, that's not it. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Gotta go away, go away. What was the button for not zoom interact system? M. M was for records and documents. Personal property, James Jim Rogers. Oh, I can zoom in. Zoom in way a lot. Okay, that's cool. I ain't reading this. I'm leaving that for you to read. Let's see what else we can find. This door marked with departmental identification leads to the medical division and junior officers' work areas. Occasionally, faint footsteps and hum of equipment operation can be heard through the door crack. Hierophant glances at the nameplate, but there are more pressing matters to attend right now. Wonder how long the demo is. Look who's been demoted, a model officer. So what, he's about to be out telling guys sells his own subordinates now assigned to hunt. What? That was clearly one of NC guys. Why should you pick him? He's the best at pretending. Look at him, always acting like the most empathic officer on earth, but behind the scenes coward. With more ruthless, ripped the chip out of his said he could have hacked it into control my waist. Said cane injection. Jeez, these guys are talking. Yeah, I have an issue with this. This needs to be a little bit slower. People wanna talk, read this, you know, process this, and then, you know, read again and everything. I bet it could have something in the backlog, right? No, it's just keeping writing off the big important stuff. It doesn't keep writing off what is happening here. Also, these interactables need to be a little bit brighter or maybe different color than white. Everything is white. The restroom has been maintained by dedicated personnel to a standard of cleanliness that far exceeds functional necessity. The drainage and toilets have never been experienced the slightest malfunction, nor can one discover a single droplet of scattered water or trace of hand soap upon the floors. The air carries the perfectly calibrated fragrance of orange blossoms, creating the illusion of stepping into an orchard kissed by morning dew. Jesus, this is just for the toilet. That orchard which exists only in cleaning product advertisements. Yeah, this is a little bit too much for just a fucking toilet. Also, maybe moment with a Vazda? Maybe? Behind this door lies a quiet, cramped submarine descent chamber, designed specifically for a single or dual person classified missions of the highest order. It remains strictly sealed under normal circumstances. Hierophant is honored, or perhaps unfortunate, that tonight he must depart from here, taking a submarine to Silent Valley, bidding farewell to familiar land, diving into the unknown depths. It's not time yet. Oh, I think I read that in the description that's kind of like an underwater base. White anchor, floor 2. Corridor. Wow, look. Who designs this kind of a corridor with no wall, no windows, no side offices and everything? What the fuck? Commander Nielsen. Commander, good timing. Reporting in, General. The scar on your face, an academy souvenir? Yes, sir. Tradition from the fencing club. Ah, youthful recklessness. You don't see much of that anymore. Silent Valley Base, coordinates blah 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 blah. It lies between White Anchor and the Cleanse Street sector. I assume you've heard of the rumors? Yes, General, about the Silent Valley League. Silent Valley Base, or rather the Silent Valley Project, was the old government's ace in the hole. 21 years, $22 billion. An average of 4.2 of our annual budget. It houses the gene-targeted weapon Singularity and the directed loyalty cultivation project Blade. You know what Blade is? Blade refers to our finest special operations personnel, trained under extreme conditions. They've achieved obedience and combat prowess beyond human norms. But just last week, one of them, codename Obelisk, betrayed us. Almost leaked classified intel from the base. Was Obelisk executed? Yes, but we suspect there are more infiltrators within the base. Why me, General? Because you know Kira. She's one of the project leads. Your relationship will make the investigation easier.
Wait.
Understood. And, General, about this reassignment, I wish to clarify my actions during the... You mean your mistakes during coup? It should be like coup d'etat or something, maybe, I don't know. Coup? Under Section 3, Chapter 4 of the Code of Military Conduct, officers are authorized to question orders that could cause unnecessary casualties during peacetime operations. Oh, I should be deeper voice, never mind. Moreover, Section 12, Chapter 8 clearly states that civilian executions must follow a complete judicial process. Over 40% of those purged were in fact ordinary civilians. Go on. Article 23 of the Military Intelligence Regulations mandates verification of specific evidence against targets marked for liquidation. My actions were fully compliant with the mandate. Furthermore, General, based on... Enough. Hierophant, you always were skilled at digging through regulations to justify yourself. But understand this. Rules were never meant to shield the weak. They are the blade that enforces order. And that blade can point at anyone, including those who seek to wield it for their own ends. If you refuse this mission, if you fail to uncover the traitor in Silent Valley, these rules will be used against you. A demotion would only be the beginning. Even your mother standing in the NC government would come under scrutiny. Understood. When do I depart? Tonight. A submarine is already waiting for you. Remember, once you're in Silent Valley, you won't be able to contact White Anchor. This isn't the place to practice your humanitarian ideals. If you find the traitor, execute them immediately. Understood, General. It's gonna be his friend, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend or something. A cozy little home. This is still kind of weird. I wish it had like something on the side. Oh, what is in here? Ah, White Anchor, Hierophant's office. My office? Interesting. Yeah, I need to... It's weird trying to interact or move to certain areas. Like, I wish I could click and he walks to that. Yellowing newspaper is carefully preserved in folds already framed. Federal Frontier, once an authoritative voice, now merely a relic in Hierophant's private collection. Oh boy. On the page, his foster grandparents' images are frozen in time. Like, I wish I could just click onto the location. Maybe, yeah, maybe if zooming in kinda helps, but in a drawer under the desk, an inconspicuous pamphlet is deliberately placed at the bottom of a pile of documents. At first glance, it appears to be just ordinary clutter from a typical officer's office. Yet between its pages are photocopied fragments from the diary of Hierophant's foster father, extraordinary content hidden in plain sight. Browsing the diary. Browsing the diary. Lots of browsings. Let's see if I can get to here. Outside the window lies an internally snow-capped mountain range, along with sprawling black cloud of low pressure, like a massive aircraft carrier trapping the entire lower atmosphere in gloom. The half-water, half-ice ocean gently ripples in twilight's afterglow, slowly swallowing the last remnants of light. Even the ocean itself seems destined to rust and decay under time's erosion. Confronted with such a vista, Hierophant finds himself caught in a maelstrom of contradiction. He cannot think about it, yet cannot help but think of his former dear friend, old Kira. This name should have been long since considered to that internally unhealed wound in the depths of his soul. Relegated to an incurable, irretrievable past. Yet why must this spectre, which rightfully belongs to yesterday, resurface in this world with such vivid clarity and such uncanny timing? Decent writing. I kind of respect this. Like, this is very well done. Like, very much so.
Sir.
Ryan Walker. Wow, that guy. Sir. How's the preparation coming along?
Oh.
I've completed the preliminary data on Silent Valley base, but there's a problem. The base has no network connection. They only send couriers ashore once a month. That's going to make remote support a nightmare. Any solutions? Your mother. That sounds like an insult. Like he asks, what are you doing? He says, your mother. Any solutions? Your mother. Miss Apollinaire has a private satellite in orbit, right? If we could convince her to move it over Silent Valley, we could create a stable triangular communication zone using White Anchor's signal tower and the Cleanse Strait station. But how do you get a signal through that much seawater? This is where it gets interesting. The outer shell of the Silent Valley base is made from a special alloy. It contains trace amounts of element kaon, which is capable of resonating with electromagnetic waves within the kaon frequency spectrum. If you use your mother's satellite and modulate the signal using the quantum encryption technology to match that frequency, the signal could resonate directly into the base. Thanks to the quantum encryption, no one could intercept its contents. Exactly. I've already written the basic program and installed it in this signal receiver. We just need you to negotiate with your mother. I'll handle logistics, including cover for the satellite repositioning. Are you confident? Yes, Commander. If anyone investigates the signal's anomaly, they'll find it's just part of routine polar ionospheric monitoring. Excellent work. I'll send her an email immediately. Hierophant, Silent Valley is 3,000 meters deep. If something happens down there, that's why I need you both here. If I encounter anything unusual, you must ensure the message gets out.
Understood.
Understood, Commander. Look after Roy. Yes, Commander. Thanks. The signal receiver will be ready in at most 3 hours. Get some rest while we'll stay right here. The narrow room was left with only Hierophant and the gradually darkening sky outside the window. The sound of Roy typing and Ryan writing drifted in rhythmically from the adjacent office cubicles. Hierophant couldn't help but recall what Roy looked like when he first arrived. Just a 13-year-old boy burdened by the pain of severe albinism. The toll it had taken on his father's health is an attempt to save him, and the heavy financial strain placed on his mother. Hierophant remembered standing in that modest living room, promising Roy that the military would continue his father's research, providing long-term treatment and financial support for the family in exchange for Roy's collaboration in intelligence operations. Roy had stood there in heavy clothes without hesitation, accepting the offer to leave his home and join the military. Still too young, he had been sheltered under Hierophant's protection within the forces. For 13-year-old, Jesus, man. 4 months ago, just before the coup reached its boiling point, Hierophant had reassigned Roy to extended leave, keeping him out of harm's way until after the dust settled. Summer was nearing its end. After the coup, Hierophant had become a target of suspicion. Some accused him of betraying his men, others of wavering loyalties. Whispers even suggested that he had played both sides. He could feel those unseen eyes growing sharper by the day. The executioner would inevitably be executed. Such was the unchanging rule of the world. What is that? Email sent successfully. Recipient Apollinaire. Okay, what's this for? The smooth, soft leather sofa sat quietly waiting. Work at the White Anchor base had come to a temporary halt, but Hierophant's submarine still needed some time to be prepared. At this moment, a brief rest might be the wisest choice. Keep exploring, no story progress. I need to see what's here. Deep within the bookshelf lies a faded Polaroid. During a summer break at the Naval Academy, Hierophant and his closest friend Okira briefly escaped the confines of uniform. In civilian clothes, they almost looked like ordinary people. Damn it, I skipped something. I don't know what it was. In the photo, Curious smirk reveals his distinctive personality, meticulous in training, academics, yet chaotic and unruly in life. She enjoyed control, sometimes even dominating those around her, including Hierophant. This is Hierophant with the scars. The once reserved Hierophant accepted it with remarkable patience, almost like a brother indulging his younger sister. Incest. I'm joking. Having received various body enhancements, vaccines reserved for NC government elites since childhood, Hierophant has no need for coffee. What do you mean he needs no need for coffee? Coffee is life! Coffee is everything! I'm joking. I never drank. It's not like I never drank coffee. I don't drink coffee. I think I tried it and it was like, ugh. This coffee machine was purchased when Ryan once took cold medicine that left him mentally sluggish, unable to complete his paperwork as usual. This sounds somewhat cruel, but for Roy and Ryan it serves as a very convenient work companion. Okay. Are they gonna say anything? Can I talk to them? There is like a symbol about... Oh, I think I can. Roy, do you have a moment? I'd like to have a word with you.
Of course.
Of course. What is it? Oh, there is actually like proper conversational topics. How are you feeling? How are you feeling lately? Much better actually. I spend longer periods in sunlight now, and physical training isn't a problem anymore. You're pale as a fucking vampire. I heard you've been sparring with some of the base personnel recently. Grinning proudly. Ha! You mean that 6-foot-tall giant yesterday? He spent a solid 20 minutes trying to gently subdue me, only to end up flat on his back from a simple leg sweep. But you know what? He was holding back the entire time. I could feel him controlling his strength, afraid of hurting me. After the session, he patted my shoulder and said, "You're a crafty little devil, aren't you?" Shaking his head with resignation. You seem to relish that kind of victory. Of course I do, though I must admit sparring with that type of big, straightforward guy is genuinely entertaining. His name is Thompson. Very forthcoming character. Doesn't get angry when he loses. Instead, he is curious about my techniques. We train together regularly now. He teaches me some power-based techniques, and I show him how to use leverage and speed to his advantage. You seem to hold him in high regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a bit. Clicked again. Shrugging. I just enjoy being around those sunny, cheerful big guys. With them, the whole world feels simple and straightforward. Unlike certain people who always wear that deep, contemplative expression, making it impossible to guess what they're thinking. Do you think I'll stay in the military for long? Raising an eyebrow. Are you asking about my career plans? Frankly, I have no interest in the military's hierarchical structure. That sounds like you're planning to leave. Not immediately, but eventually, yes. I didn't join because of patriotic fervor, though I'm grateful for the educational opportunities this country provided, but because your proposal solved my family's predicament. It's very practical transaction. I provide technical support, the military provides resources and research conditions. I won't pretend this is some lofty sense of mission. You always were. You're always so direct. Because hypocrisy serves no purpose, my respect for you isn't due to your rank, but because you're genuinely capable and honor your commitments. But my goal is academic research, not a military career. I want to study real geology, not applied geology serving military purposes. There are too many unknown natural phenomena in this world waiting to be understood. That sounds like a solid plan. And I believe you'll support my decision. A true leader doesn't keep a student forever bound to their side. But until then, I'll fulfill my commitments to you. What do you think of Ryan? Rain? Oh, not Ryan. Rain? He's an excellent partner, though he always looks at me with those protective eyes you'd use on a child. At least he doesn't prevent me from doing what I want to do. Such as field surveys, for instance. Rain accompanies me to nearby rivers for sample collection, and sometimes we hunt together. His tracking skills are quite impressive. He's taught me many practical wilderness survival techniques. I know some people think geologists should love animals. No, they love rocks, I think. What? But ecosystem functioning includes predation and being preyed upon. Understanding nature means comprehending the entire cycle, not just sentimental aspects. Did I miss the translation of what he wants to do? No. That's a very rational perspective. Rain gets it. He doesn't expect me to become some environmental saint just because of my academic background. Look, he's a naturalist, not a geologist. I know. We can spend an entire afternoon quietly observing a glacier's melting process or track a reindeer for 3 hours. Plus, he has this intuition, always manages to warn me when there's danger. Last time I nearly stepped into a hidden crevasse, he pulled me back just in time. My instruments hadn't even detected that anomaly. Sounds like you work well together. We do. Most importantly, he never treats me like a patient requiring special care. I greatly appreciate that kind of equal treatment. Decently writing. I need to get back to work, Roy. Talking with you is always enlightening. Let's see if we can talk to Rain. Rain, could we talk a moment? Yes, Commander. Have you had previous girlfriends? Why is your relationship stable? What the fuck is that question? No previous girlfriends. Before meeting Teresa, I focused on work. Sounds simple enough.
Exactly.
It is. We are compatible, so we are together. She doesn't need me to change anything, and I don't need her to change anything. That's pretty good. With respect, sir, your romantic relationships have always been unstable. Why do you say that? Your approach, everything with intensity. Work ideals, personal relationship, you're gentle without question. Towards subordinates, friends, anyone who needs help, but simultaneously. I can English! But simultaneously, forgive me for saying this, you're also terrifying. Terrifying? I've observed you, sir. You enjoy control, not maliciously, but it is your nature. You take pleasure in seeing others generally submit to your judgment. Damn. Dominatrix over there. I've seen how you were with your former partners, initially. Why did I skip? I don't know why I clicked. Jesus. I can't go to the log before this. You thoughtfully remember their preferences, then ensure they got what they wanted, but simultaneously you gently yet firmly prevent them from making choices you deem unwise. In your view, this was profound care. Isn't that caring? Certainly it is caring, sir, but it's also control. You appear to fully understand their thoughts, but in reality you cannot tolerate them not adopting to your advice and making mistakes you've already foreseen. Jesus, is this like a fucking... is this guy a shrink? God damn. Your predictions are almost always correct, which makes the situation more complex. They know following your guidance would be better, but that very certainty becomes a form of bondage. Ordinary people instinctively fear that intensity. They yearn for equal love. You provide protection and guidance. Eventually they choose to flee because besides you they feel no sense of their own independent worth. That sounds like an accusation.
No.
Not an accusation at all, sir. Simply an observation. You would never harm anyone, but you need us to depend on you. This need is more intense and fundamental than ordinary emotional requirements. Ordinary lovers cannot satisfy this need. They have their own life trajectories, their own standards of judgment. They question your decisions, demand equal voice, yearn to maintain independence. I did not expect to read this in this kind of a game in this moment. Jesus Christ. But from my observations, you've never truly learned the art of compromise. You've simply become better at making others willingly accept your choices. This isn't a flaw, sir. It's simply a trait, incompatible with ordinary love. What do you think I need, then? Pausing cautiously. If I may be so bold, sir, you don't need a partner. You need a subordinate, or rather a weapon. Someone who can withstand your intensity without retreating, without being crushed, and without becoming your burden. Someone willing to be protected by you and willing to be used by you. Aren't you the one fucking holding that motherfucking gun, dude? At all times? Always? Someone who can find meaning in existence under your guidance rather than losing themselves. Such a person would feel safe because of your control, not consumed by it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge for the rest of the fucking game? Maybe? Yeah, we do get somebody as like a weapon. That was in the trailer description. Like, what was it? Osprey. Docile humanoid weapon Osprey. Oh my god, this is gonna get Yaoi so hard. In so many ways. What did I step into? Anyway. But in another type of relationships, this might be precisely the perfect match. Oh, you cannot compromise in a relationship, which is indeed problematic in love. Even more cautiously. This isn't love in traditional sense, sir. It's something deeper and more primitive. But for certain people, this might be exactly what they've been searching for. There are all kinds of people. What do you think of Roy? Intelligent, sir. More intelligent than most people. What else? He has clear objectives, knows what he wants and how to achieve it. I consider that rare. His physical condition isn't ideal, but he never complains. Works hard during training. Are you often accompany him on field trips?
Yes.
Yes, sir. He needs accompaniment, not due to insufficient capability, but because he becomes overly focused. When observing geological samples, he easily overlooks surrounding dangers. I'm responsible for reminding him about safety. It's a mutual learning process. He teaches me geology, rock formations, plant characteristics. I teach him tracking and marksmanship. A fair exchange. It sounds like you get along well. He doesn't look down on me because of my background. I don't underestimate him because of his age. We have different personalities, but collaborate pleasantly. That's sufficient. Are you satisfied with your current life? Satisfied, sir? That's it?
Right.
Smiling slightly. Much better than the past. Stable work, trustworthy superior, someone who loves me deeply. My father worked in a factory his entire life. Never had choices. I can at least choose whom to serve. During the coup, did you ever hesitate? No, sir. NC's regulations were becoming increasingly excessive. Mandatory chip implantation, mind control. I've seen how my father was arbitrarily ordered around by his supervisors. I didn't want to become that. Following you, I can at least maintain human dignity. Do you think the future will be better? Uncertain, sir, but I'll do my best to make it better. Some principles are worth upholding, like allowing people to live as humans, not tools. Yep. Thank you, Rain. Talking with you always gives me a sense of stability. I want to check something. Did I get his file? Ray Walker, 29. Logistician, soldier officer. Okay, I'm not gonna read his background right now. There's already a lot of stuff. Okay, smooth leather, blah 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 blah. Take a nap. Yep, we're gonna be napping. Memories. Had a good sleep. Oh, no flashbacks. No,
Hierophant.
Hierophant, the signal receiver is ready. So, this is the receiver that can punch through 3,000 meters of seawater. Looks more like a piece of art. Functionality and aesthetics aren't mutually exclusive. I also added a backup power source. It should, in theory, keep everything running for up to a month. Please be advised, do not initiate contact unless necessary. Even in an emergency, you must ensure the communication environment is secure. Commander, I have recalibrated the mothership fleet's cruising route. Following the new course, they'll accidentally pass through the zone where they can pick up transmissions. If anything urgent happens, you'll still have a channel to get the message out. I'm leaving this office in your hands. There's a blue and gold notebook on the third shelf. It contains important contacts, if something goes wrong. It won't. We'll stay in touch. And remember, you promised to help find a cure for my albinism.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, Commander. We'll keep everything secure here. Time's up. The submarine's waiting. Take care, both of you.
Safe journey, sir.
Safe journey, sir.
It feels like it's... their voice acting is changing. Never mind. M to open the game menu to view a signal receiver module. Why is... this signal receiver is a special feature that remains locked under normal conditions. It can only be activated when a mission specifically requires it and you are inside your personal quarters at the Silent Valley base. Outside the mission phases or when you are not in a safe zone, your quarter, the receiver cannot be activated. Okay, what does it even do? Current mission does not require the receiver. Maybe like it gives you hints. Like if there's like puzzles and stuff like that. Come on, let's go. This needs... I need to click on the doors to get there, I think. Getting closer than clicking E is kind of annoying because there's a very, very tiny area that you can interact with. Wow, this is a very, very fucking tiny sub. Like absolutely fucking tiny. This is a single occupant submarine, a streamlined vessel approximately 2.5 meters in length. Its surface clad in charcoal grey composite material bearing no identifying marks whatsoever. The craft has been engineered exclusively for solo deep sea operations. During descent, the cabin fills with specialized breathing medium, allowing the occupant to extract oxygen directly from the lungs, directly through the lungs from the liquid environment. Wow. Okay, I was gonna complain that it's so tiny. You know, how much air do you have to travel to like a place that's 3 kilometers deep? Which 3 kilometers is not too much, but still. This design both withstands the crushing pressures of the abyss and extends the survival duration in emergency circumstances. Initial usage may prove disconcerting, yet most individuals quickly acclimate to this unconventional method of respiration. It's like, what was it, the abyss or some kind of a... I forgot the name of the movie. It was a movie, I think with like aliens at the end or something like that, where you, in order to go deeper with like specialized diving equipment, you would fill your helmet with this kind of special water that allows you to breathe, kind of that. I forgot the name of the movie. It's an old one. Depart for Sea Valley, Sun Valley. Depart. We will progress the story even further. Is this the end of the demo? I can't do shit. I believe this might be end of the demo. I can't even go back into the menu. Is there something I need to click? Something hidden? Nope. Ah, boy. The darkness, the emptiness, the blackness of the dark sea. Maybe I need to click in the middle to get sent into the deep down, dark below. Nope, it just dead. Anyway, there is a way to fix this. So, I'm guessing, you know, maybe I can try loading back up. Maybe it was a bug. Nah, I think this might be just the end of the demo. It's a good showcase of the game. There are some technical issues, as I said. I wish you could just click on a certain locations and that would use, you know, interact with stuff. The areas are a little bit wonky where we can move and position ourselves, and so I can get close to certain things, or I get on top of other things, or it's you need to get really the interacting field, or like kind of the probably the area around the buttons or certain locations where you interact with is kind of wonky if you wanna, you know, interact with them. So I mean, you need to get really close to them. The story is decent. It's kind of some alternate history kind of deal. It has some you know, new technology, new things, but kind of still setting it up as like a military thriller drama thing. I'm guessing there's gonna be a lot of well, romance, maybe, possibly. We will see. There's some gonna be, the trailers show a lot of interesting topics. It's not something I would play, mostly because, you know, kind of these dramas or modern day stuff or military things is not to my, you know, liking. But I feel like this still has a decent audience that it will be interesting to. It's basically a visual novel, but with extra steps of you can actually move around, you can explore. Probably when we get to the Silent Valley, you can have the whole base to explore. There could be some puzzling, possibly. You can add stuff like that. Maybe some inventory management, maybe something around those lines, or just collecting information and piecing together a solution to some kind of this investigation, and to find your, missing friend and all that. Could have possible different endings, different, conclusions. As I said, like, the technical part can be a little bit annoying, and maybe I wish this was fully voice acted, but I understand it's, if it's in the budget, it's in the budget. If it's not in the budget, it's not. That's quite understandable. It feels like it could be cooler if it was. I like the art style. Like, the art style is very cool. Like, it reminds me of something. I just can't put my finger on it. Like, I've seen similar stuff, but it's not the same, and it's really, really cool. Like, it reminds me, technically, kind of slightly, of some of those cultivation novels, maybe, like some of the art in those kinds of books and manga. Like, all of the male characters are very, very well designed, I would say, and drawn, so it could be tied to that. And for sure this might be very much interesting for the female audience more than the male one, and that is all good, that is all cool. And there are certain scenes in the trailer that would, allow me to believe that this is getting on the route of Yaoi. Maybe. Possibly. In any case, decent visual novel, decent story. If this was like translated, because I think this might be like a Chinese or a Japanese game, the translation is alright. It might need some work. It uses a lot of, big words, I would say, and some decent descriptions, like really nice descriptions. So it's gonna be an interesting read, if anything else. And the fact that this is like in a deep underwater base, 3 kilometers under the sea. It can make like a very nice scene for, something new, something interesting. In any case, this was Project 2 Silent Valley. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Do the like, subscribe, comment, dance. There is Patreon for support. You can check out this madness live on Twitch/ByPenAndPaper, or you can check me out on YouTube at ByPenAndPaper for first hours, demos, let's plays, and whatever else I post there. Till next time, as always, remember, it's the stories that we play. See ya.